Okay, grade eights and grade sevens. Here we go. Okay, as I mentioned yesterday, I am away for a couple days here, so we are going to get started, and I'm going to show you exactly what you're going to do. You have already met Mr. Smith. He is a friend of mine, so please be nice to him. He's kind of sensitive, so take it easy on him. And here we go. So as always, my webpage, here it is. That's where you're going to start. Social Studies 8. Scroll all the way down. Okay, so I've got today's date and tomorrow's date right there. So you got a couple things here. The first thing you'll do is open up this presentation called the Religious Society. As always, what I need you to do is file, make a copy, and then move that copy into your proper folder in Drive. Okay, once you have it there, remember, leave it up like this. So as Mr. Smith goes through it with you, you can add your comments in here. So if he says this is important, add a comment. Or if this is important, highlight or bold it. Okay, so make sure you're adding comments in, and highlighting, underlining key things. So that's how you can do that. So he's going to go through this. It's just going to talk to you about the Middle Ages and religion and how important it was. And he knows most of this stuff, so he'll be able to explain it to you. Okay, so once that's done, I don't know how long it takes. Probably won't take the whole period. But once that is done, you will open up this little assignment here. It's called Feudalism Story. Okay, now what this says is you need to write a story that describes life during feudal times. What was life like for the various people in society, and how were they affected by various obstacles or events? You will need to include all of the following. Life for serfs and freemen, what was the difference? Life on the farm as opposed to the city. How did the hierarchy work? The role of women, difference between peasant and noble women. Really what I'm looking for here is, educated, not educated, noble women had fewer rights, I guess, maybe because they couldn't choose their husband, that type of thing. Difference between peasant women on the farms and peasant women in towns. How did the system of contracts work? Briefly describe what life is like during the Middle Ages, and then the effect that the Black Death had on you. If you're very creative, maybe you write your story, you have the Black Death, and you end up dying from the Black Death. It says, be creative and use your imagination. If you want to add visuals, you can. And here's a short example. I just wrote this as one thing. It says, my life is almost unbearable as a serf during this time period. The only thing keeping me going is my family, ensuring I provide for them. I wake up before the sun rises and go to work on the farm all day in the scorching heat, only to come home when the sun goes down to a terrible meal in a rundown shack for a house. At least if I was a freeman instead of a serf, I could leave the land and work where I chose. But I cannot leave this farm as I am a slave to my lord. I guess it could be worse. Life in the city isn't much better. I heard there are lots of rats and disease. At least in the city, people are free to work and make money, unlike me. Now, notice I used words like lord. Maybe you want to use vassal. I highlighted where I talked about one of these things. So you're just going to continue on something along those lines and write me a nice little creative story. Now, you're extremely lucky. Mr. Smith is an English major and specifically is a published author. And you may be lucky enough to read some of his work in some of your classes and when you get to high school. So he's very good at this stuff and he can help you out way more than I can. So take advantage of him over the next couple of days to work on this. Now, as you're writing this story, if you go back to my webpage, notice I've got the Religious Society presentation, Challenges to Feudalism presentation, all these videos if you need to rewatch one of those little videos. What else? I've got your Feudalism and Middle Ages presentation. Okay, so I've got all the stuff you need right on here. If you're a textbook person, chapter 1 of the textbooks right there. But that's kind of what we're going to do for the next couple of days. So you're going to do the presentation, and then you're going to start your little creative story. Remember what I said about Mr. Smith. Take advantage of his vast knowledge of writing over the next couple of days. And like I said, take it easy on the guy. Okay, he is a friend of mine, and remember, he is extremely sensitive. I know he doesn't look it, but he is. So have fun over the next couple of days. Get as much done as you can. If you have questions, email me or get a hold of me on Twitter. And other than that, I will see you in a couple days.